Some of you may not like what I'm about to say, but gosh darn tootin', I don't care. Sets and seasons, the innovative concept for content in MLB The Show 23, has not worked exactly to perfection this year. I don't think that's a shocking statement. But what is going to shock some people is that I think it can work, and I think it will work in 24. It is rare, downright impossible, to get such a big swing right the first time trying it. MLB The Show's content team certainly tried something different with MLB The Show 23, and now through like 6 months essentially, it's crazy that the game's been out that long, but basically through 6 months, maybe even 7, I can't do math, I think we can finally assess how Sets and Seasons has looked. We are in the midst of Set 4. Content has been pretty repetitive from Set 1 to now, so I think it's a great time to assess, look at things, and give some predictions, or maybe some suggestions, that's a better word, on how things can get better moving forward. Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube, welcome back to Whiteboard Wednesday. It's the MLB The Show content series that features no gameplay, no content. It is just me and a whiteboard. We just talk about the game for fun, for tips, for advice, just to shoot the breeze, just to get a video up on YouTube every Wednesday. So without further ado, I know why you're here. Let's go talk about Sets and Seasons. In my opinion, the current Sets and Seasons model means that each season is just too damn long. How long, you ask? Well, here's a comparison. Do you guys remember during the beginning of the pandemic when you all got sent this link of advice for how to deal with the pandemic, and it was just a man sitting on the corner of the bed? And I'll stop my description there. Yeah, seasons are that long. Each season being long means there's a lot of downtime. There are content lulls. One of the biggest things we've complained about this year, and I think rightfully so, is that there's sometimes just nothing to do. Even with content dropping, let's say every Friday, at worst every other Friday, it doesn't take that long to complete in the grand scheme of things. In the moment, it sure seems like a grind, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't take that long. So that leaves us with almost nothing to do. But listen, I get it. Like, I understand why each season was as long as it was this year. It lined up perfectly with certain benchmarks in the Major League season. The All-Star Game, the postseason now, what will be finest at the end of the season. I get it. You don't have to do rocket science here to understand why they did it the way they did. But I think if you cut each season in half, now we're talking. Instead of 50 or 60 days, let's make them a solid 30 days. That's going to remind a lot of people of the program system that used to exist in MLB The Show, the innings programs. But the difference here is that we'd still keep the sets model so that we'd have to cycle cards in and out based on who's eligible and who's not. We talked about this in the last Whiteboard Wednesday. 20 random legends that could juice up MLB The Show. That was more for fun, just to kind of take a trip down memory lane and talk about some old baseball players. However, the sentiment is true. Adding more legends to the game, not subtracting ones we currently have in favor of new ones, but just simply adding influx of new legends into the game, instantly would make Sets and Seasons better. We're getting a lot of duplicate cards right now. The Kyle Schwarber example that will live on forever. It's just simply too much repetition for a content concept that's supposed to revolve around variants, different cards, different team builds, different legends, of course, would help this. We'd stop with these repetitions, we get fresh new faces to play with, maybe we'll find a new all-time favorite swing, and overall, I think more legends is just better anyway. It gives more teams representation, it gives more lineup diversity, it's just fantastic. So SDS, if you're listening, and I hope that you are, open up the purse, get them blank checks out, start throwing them out like Oprah. We need legends. Captains need to work effectively for Sets and Seasons to truly be a home run. I hate myself for that. We all know that captains have been pretty underwhelming, except for like 2 or 3 of them. The cover athlete boost, the shortstop team boost, and the durability boost. Those have been the only 3 that have been rock solid fantastic. I guess 4, we can argue Trevor Hoffman is a captain boost, sure. So there have been 4 rock solid captains that you keep seeing prevalently in MLB The Show 23. There have also been, I don't know, 150 captain cards dropped. So for 4 out of that large of a number to be relevant, that's bad. Captains have slowly, emphasis on the word slowly, gotten better throughout the year in terms of their attributes, their viability, what they can do. In the last content update, we got the best 2 captains in terms of individual ratings in a vacuum that we've gotten all season. 97 JD Martinez and 97 Jack Flaherty are the first 2 97 overall captains. JD Martinez actually slaps as a really good bat, and Jack Flaherty is Jack Flaherty. But the point that I'm making here is that we might be able to live with 97 overall captains. I thought they'd have to be 99s to work. I might still believe that. I'm not sure what you believe. But seeing how those cards act and how they boost the players around them, 97s might work. So in my opinion, what SDS should do in these remaining handful of months in the game's cycle is to keep tinkering with captains. I'm not worried about game-breaking captains at this point in the year because the player base has already kind of died down. It's okay to take chances now. Show me 98 overall captains. Show me 99 overall captains. At the very least, give me more 97s that I could play with. Because I think if we hit a home run with captains, we can really make sets and seasons something special. This kind of ties into my point about needing new legends. But even without new legends, I think this can still be very true and very possible. This content model will be more successful if we spend more time between duplicates. I don't want 8 weeks between Kyle Schwarbers, I want 16 weeks. Think of the guys that we don't even have 99s of yet, and it is October 10th at time of recording. There's no watch on my hand, LOL. George Brett, no 99. Eddie Murray, no 99. What are we waiting for? There will always be special exceptions, like if a Player of the Month performance predicates getting another 99 of someone we just got. I understand. I'm not saying completely across the board eliminate it, but I think when content is planned out in the way that SDS plans out its content, we should not have that much overlap. Things should be different. Things should be spicy. Things should be fresh. Especially because we can fabricate a 99 out of thin air. And my forever example of that will be G-Man Choi. We've talked about this in other videos, but I'm going to talk about it again here. For sets and seasons to work to its peak potential, we have to, must, it's imperative to scale back collections. I'm not advocating for ridding the game of them. I think the Live Series collection is still very important. It gets you some very important and prominent core cards. I do think there is some merit to having set collections. Right now, as it's currently structured, there are at least 3 set-breaking cards in every collection, and now they started to add some tiered ones like Corbin Carroll, Jose Ramirez, Nolan Ryan, things like that. There are so many OP collection cards that there is no lineup variance anymore. The whole point of sets and seasons was to make lineups different, to make everyone use different cards. And what's happening? It's all the same. That, in my opinion, is the biggest fundamental flaw so far of sets and seasons. Yes, the grinding is extreme. Yes, the seasons are too long. Yes, they're all repetitive cards. But number one, what sets and seasons was supposed to do was make my opponent have a different lineup than me. Or at least give me the opportunity to stretch my binder thin and use people I wouldn't normally use. But in my opinion, with the way it's set up now, I think it's actually done the opposite. Everybody's using the same lineup, I get stuck using the same lineup and players, and it kind of becomes a little boring. And ultimately, I don't want this game to be boring. I love this game. I love baseball. I will forever love baseball. Let's make it juicy again. And on that note, I'm going to end the video here. Just on a little bit of a somber, reflective note. My grandpa died 2 years ago this month. A very important man in my life. I lived with him and my grandma for several years while my parents were going through some stuff. And he has been an enormous influence on my life. Very important, very incredible man. Started the family business that gave me and my family everything it has. He was one of the first people who got me into baseball, and I just want to show you this, guys. This was his glove that he played with in like the, I don't know, the 50s, 60s. I will forever cherish this keepsake. It's a left-handed glove. I'm a lefty. Not that you could use it because the pocket's so dang tiny. But just shout out to Grandpa. Miss you. Love you. I love baseball because of you. And I appreciate everything you did for me. That'll do it, guys. I appreciate you making it to the end. Love you all so much. I'll see you next time.